All right, welcome to Hoops Tracker. We are excited and pumped. Jerry Howard, your host. Colorado Hoops Tracker is your source for Colorado basketball. Wow, we are getting ready for the playoffs. We are in the last week. We wanted to take a quick glance to see where teams were and what they're doing for getting ready for the playoffs, who's in, who's not, who's on the border. Without further ado, let's dive in. Remember, Colorado Hoops Tracker is your source for Colorado basketball. You can catch us on hoopstracker.net. We have a weekly show, we have a prep writer show. We are on Hoops Tracker for social media. Hey, if you haven't checked it out, check out our CHSAA RPI talk. It's a great talk, great way to see where everybody's at. But let's dive in and see where are people, what do things look like? And the RPI rankings, just really quick, if you haven't watched the show, quick review. This is based on your winning percentage, your opponent's winning percentage, and your opponent's winning percentage. So head-to-head matchups are not calculated in this. So right now we're looking at Colorado girls 6A basketball. Who are the top 8 teams? Well, here it is right here. Right now you got Valor 1, Grandview 2. Valor will win the Jeffco League. Grandview should win. They're in the Centennial League playoffs, but Grandview will probably win the Centennial League. Broomfield just last night beat Meade. They are going to win the Granite League. Cherry Creek is right now sitting at number 4, and they have a big matchup coming up against Cherokee Trail. Pine Creek will win that Southern League. Legend just lost last night to Highlands Ranch. Highlands Ranch is in the driver's seat for the Continental League. There's going to be a 3-way tie, but Highlands Ranch, their only loss in the Continental League is to Regis. And Legend beat Regis. So Highlands Ranch is in the driver's seat. Arvada West, they're going to finish second in the Jeffco League. Congratulations to Coach Brady Meeks. Now, Cherokee Trail. So here you go, right? Here's your top 10. Now, this is going to get interesting because there are some dangerous teams here that you're going to want to be watching. So, for example, as we look at it, Denver East is a very dangerous team, even though 13-8, they have a lower record. Cherokee Trail, these guys are loaded with talent and they are prime. They had a very tough off-season schedule or preseason schedule. Riverdale Ridge is floating around at 13. This is a very dangerous team. Bree Crittenden, Chloe Parker, these guys have played Grandview really tough and come up short. They've played Legend really tough. Man, they will be definitely a team to watch. Columbine Doherty, Rocky Mountain finished, I believe, second in the league up north. But as you look, right, there's some other teams down here. Ralston Valley, even though they're 12-10, very dangerous. Monarch, congratulations to Kincaid Bimler, first year coach. He's got them in the top 21. But who is in and who is out? Down here, you got Denver South, Fairview, Denver North, Fort Collins, and Liberty. They're all floating around. Now, remember, 5A, 6A, they pull in 40 teams, not 32. So we'll see. There's a couple of teams sitting on the outskirts looking in. We'll see if they get in. Let's jump over to the boys 6A, take a quick glance at that. Rangeview, undefeated. Eagle Crest, number 2. Shap 3. Ralston Valley 4. Now, Ralston Valley just lost in the last 2 weeks. They've lost 2 games. They've lost 1 game to Valor Christian, and they just lost last night to Mountain Vista. Those games didn't really affect their ranking a whole lot. Horizon is sitting at number 6. They're going to win that Granite League up north. Rangeview, one is going to win the City League. Eagle Crest is Centennial League, and then Shap, Shap in the Continental League, they're looking pretty good. So top 8, you got Fruita Monument here is an 8 seed. They are looking really good. They're sitting on the western slope. We'll see if there's any movement there. You got Mountain Vista at 9, sitting on the outside. That is going to be a great matchup. Regis, a very dangerous team. Broomfield, second in that Granite League, also very dangerous. Arapahoe, Denver South. Man, our top 16, there's a lot of teams that could win this, and it depends who gets hot. Now, let's float down and see who's sitting on the outside, possibly looking in. You got Cherry Creek right now at number 40. You've got, and there's, wow, this is going down to the thousandths of a digit. So Vista Peak, you got to win in that DPS league. If you win, I bet you move up, but we'll see how that plays out. Cherry Creek is in the Centennial League. I believe they lost that first game last week. So winning is very important for these last teams right here in the last week. And the fact that they're doing the league, that helps your RPI. Looking forward to it. Let's dive down into 5A. Where are we with 5A? Lutheran is at number 1. Now, this is interesting. Lutheran plays in a Springs League. They have not played Mesa Ridge yet. Mesa Ridge, one of the hottest teams in 5A, is number 2. Montrose is 3. This is surprising. Discovery Canyon is 4. Dakota Ridge, who's one of the top teams in 5A, they're a 5 seed. Wow. This is going to be interesting because this is where the RPI, if it was set up properly, a lot of these teams would meet in the Coliseum or in the Final Four. And if you move some teams down, this could affect some things like Windsor being a number 8. This is really interesting because Windsor, they're one of the top teams in the Hoops Tracker poll. Stanley Lake is dangerous. Meade is very dangerous. One of the things about Meade is they've been playing in a 5A, 6A league. They now have been battle tested. They've played Broomfield. They played Horizon. They've played a lot of really good teams. Longmont sitting down here, dangerous 12 team. Frederick at 14. Lewis Palmer barely 500 at a 15 seed. They could easily knock off. And Lewis Palmer beat Lutheran recently. And this team is dangerous. So this will be interesting. Who's on the outside looking in? You got Roosevelt at 38, Ponderosa and Pueblo County. Ponderosa in that Continental League playing, they're playing in a strong 6A league and they drop down to 5A. But you got Skyline here, Canyon City sitting on the outside looking in. Let's see if these spots will hang on for the week. Let's drop down to 4A because last night, Kent Denver and Peak to Peak went head to head, and Kent Denver crushed Peak to Peak. Wow, this was amazing. These two are in the same league. Kent Denver will win that Metro League. Peak to Peak will be second. It'll be interesting because this year in 4A, they are taking the top 32, and usually 4A has a double elimination, and they won't. They have some sort of modified consolation bracket this year. I don't know how that's going to work, but you've got Aspen at number 3, which this is a dangerous mountain team. However, where are some of our other 4A teams? Like Holy Family is a 15. Now, Holy Family played in a 5A, 6A league. They dropped down. Their battle tested. There is no way they should be at a 15 here. This is where the CHSAA RPI, this is where it can do damage. Remember, 2 years ago, Holy Family was a 12 seed and they won and beat they beat and won 4A championship. And so is it accurate? Is this right? I don't know. Colorado Academy much higher. TCA should be much higher. There's some teams like Denver West. Man, these teams should be a lot higher. So this is going to make the playoffs interesting. This top six, the Sweet 16, you have Holy Family going to peak. Now, they've played head to head earlier this season. Peak to peak won, but not by much. And this will be a great game. This should be an Elite Eight matchup, not a Sweet 16 matchup. Holy Family wins, peak to peak loses. I mean, you got an 18-2 team playing a very, very good 4A Holy Family team. So lots of craziness can and will happen with the CHSAA RPI. All right. Well, let's dive in. We're going to wrap up with the girls 5A and just take a look. Air Academy, Green Mountain Mead, Windsor, Roosevelt, all legitimate top 5 teams, relatively in good spots. We'll see how Durango flushes out. Montrose, Frederick. Now, this Mullen team at 9, this is dangerous. They should be ranked a lot higher. This is where in the Sweet 16, they could be dangerous and knock a team off. And who knows what happens. And if they make it to the Elite Eight, they're looking at Air Academy as going against as long as they do their thing. Lutheran, Stanley Lake, you got Golden Palisade. Anybody else? For the most part, pretty good rankings. Pueblo East should be higher, but we'll see how that goes. And then at 5A, who's floating down here at the bottom? You got Battle Mountain, you got Dakota Ridge, you got Cheyenne Mountain, Pueblo County, Littleton, and Harrison. If these guys get a win, they might be able to notch up, but we'll see there. And then at 4A, University undefeated, good spot for them. Eaton, second in their league, comes in at rank number 3. Now look at this. Eaton, Timnath, Patriot League gets 3 spots in the top 8. Wow. Holy Family, peak to peak, drops to 8th. But in that Metro League, peak to peak just lost the other night. But this is interesting, right? You got Western Slope, you got Alamosa, but you got teams like D'Evelyn that, man, this is injustice because D'Evelyn, this team is one of the top 4A teams and they should be ranked in the top 4 for sure. So we'll see how that goes. Kent, Denver, 11 and 10, they're creeping up as a 12 seed, but who's sitting out on you got Arvada, Elizabeth, Prospect Ridge, maybe Pueblo Centennial. We'll see how they do. Well, that's our review of the playoffs today. Man, CHSAA's got some things right and they've got some things not right. And it's unfortunate that some of those higher ranking teams that should be higher ranked that are down at 15 or 13 or 12. If you're a 12 seed in the RPI and you look at the last couple of years, those if you're a 12 seed, that's actually a really good place to be because traditionally they have made a great run at the Final Four. Well, this is Jerry Howard, your host of Hoops Tracker, giving you a quick playoff preview. Who's in? Where are they? And we'll take a look at those and be sure to watch our show on Saturday night or Sunday because when CHSAA announces it, we're going to do all the breakdowns. All right, everyone have a great week. For those teams on the borderline, I hope you guys win and you get in. And those teams that aren't, but remember that RPI ranking, just one win may or may not make a big difference for you. So take that into account. We hope everyone has a great week